Okay.
Well, hi, Anna.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to do this.
Me too. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, my name is Anna. I am 7.5 years old. I live in Florida. I'm known on pretty much any page as AMC Princess Anna. I'm a social media influencer, and we do lots and lots of videos. Um, and we even started a nonprofit called Helping AMC Families. That's a really cool nonprofit because it helps other AMCers like me and Ryan with like travel expenses and lodging and getting the medical care they need.
Well, I'm Ryan. I'm 28. I'm also a social media influencer. I'm from Texas, and I love that I have arthrogryposis or AMC as well as you, Miss Princess Anna.
How are you affected at birth?
So, whenever I was in my mama's belly, I was actually, so I've been told, I was folded in half. So, my mom had to have the C section with me, and um, I was folded in half, and my hands were actually turned completely underneath. They weren't straight like they are now. So, the doctors had to have to do surgeries to straighten them out. And then they did a lot of stretching with me and things like that over time to kind of get my legs to go down, like further down where they're supposed to be, and my arms as well. It took a lot of stretching. And so whenever I was born, I was basically balled up into like a fetal position. I couldn't, it was kind of like I was stuck that way. And then over time, I kind of just, it's like my arms and my legs just loosened up a little bit, but not like they're supposed to.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get those bones into the right position because they're
Right.
kind of stuck that way.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am, you were right.
Yeah. Well, when I was born, I'm affected in all four limbs, so my arms were stuck straight. I could not bend them, not even 1/2 centimeter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my legs were stuck bent, so I couldn't straighten them either. And my left foot was like pretty much completely upside down.
That's
And,
crazy.
and both my feet were clubbed and my hands.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me how, a lot of people have AMC like we do, but it's crazy to me how similar your legs and your arms are to mine. The way I feel like we're very similar as far as like we both have like the club foot, and our arms are very similar in shape and the way that we walk and everything. I think it's super cool to have somebody like you who's also an influencer and such a bright light in this world, that I can relate to, because I can't relate to most people. It's not as common to have AMC as it is to have like autism or all these other disabilities that a lot of people have. So it's very cool and unique to be able to meet people and interact with people who have the same thing as you.
What treatments or surgeries have you had since birth? I'll go first.
Okay.
I've had 4 surgeries. I had a yes. I had a heel cord release, 2 elbow releases so I could bend and straighten them, and then what we call the Feldman special because Dr. Feldman is my doctor, and he straightened my legs out so they could also bend. So like I can now walk and bend my arms and like do a lot of things like like regular people would.
Right.
Non-AMCers. Yeah, I like about my AMC because I can pretty much do whatever I want,
You're
even
exactly right.
even if it limits me to do some things.
Yeah, you do things in your own special, unique way, and that's what makes you so awesome. Is you have that mentality of, hey, I'm going to figure this out no matter what, and that's what I really admire about you. Whenever I was younger, actually, I think whenever I was a baby, I don't remind. Like I've told you guys before, my mom knows a lot more than I do, but I know for a fact that I had the surgeries on both of my wrists whenever I was a tiny baby, like only a couple months old, I think, to kind of release them. And then they like put something inside of my wrist to make them what they are now, where they can't really bend, but it made it to where they can't just like flap around, so that the joints could actually develop in like a better way, as far as I know. And then I also had surgery on my left foot. The one, like you said, yours was completely turned around. Mine was completely turned to the inside, almost all the way around. And so they released that foot too. And that is actually the only surgeries that I've had related to having AMC.
How are you affected now?
Now, I think that I've spent so many years. Obviously, I'm a little bit older, so I've had more time to adapt to things. Whenever I was your age, when I was super young, I was very frustrated all the time, because I couldn't force myself to try to figure out how to do things, mainly because I couldn't walk. And I actually used to scoot around until I was, I believe, 6 or 7, and then I started walking. And it's like as soon as I started walking, then everything just took off from there. I got very, very determined, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach myself how to change my socks and shoes, or my clothes, or use the restroom. And I kind of just adapted to everything around me. So from that time then to now has been super awesome, because I have less stress about, living with AMC, because I'm so well adapted to changing my clothes and making food and using the restroom and opening doors and things like that, because I've kind of just a lot like I've adapted to it, and I've figured out my own way to do it. And I promise you that it gets easier. It gets harder, and then it gets easier, but it's definitely worth it in the end, and makes you feel a lot better about yourself. Once you do figure out how to do things, then it just becomes a normal everyday routine to you, just like people that don't have disabilities. We pretty much do the same thing that they do, just in our own special way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that people with AMC, pretty much every person with AMC, can do a lot, despite the fact that the AMC kind of limits them to do some things. They can do most things that non-AMCers can do.
You're right. You're very, very right. It's all about being determined and not taking no for an answer.
Yep. And when you were talking about like it gets harder and easier to do things as you kind of get older and stuff, well, that makes sense because you're growing and you're changing into like different positions of your body since when you were born. So it gets harder to do it at first because you just changed, and then it gets easier because you're
Right.
into it.
And it's like I told you, that me and you are very similar as far as the way that our limbs are, like our arms and legs, but you're still going to grow differently, and I grew differently, and we're going to do a lot of things in the kind of the same way, but also at the same time it'll still be a little bit different, because everybody's different, and that's okay.
Well, now I'm affected pretty much the same way I was for the last like 5 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually 4 years of my life. Because my left arm, since I was like 5, my left arm couldn't straighten all the way. This is as straight as it can go without like someone pushing down on it. But my right one can go a little bit farther.
Right.
Yeah. My I've my left leg, basically my left knee is, we call it the wacky patella because it's not actually where it should be. It's like more to the left and up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of how mine are too, but mine are more on the inside of my leg instead of the top where they would normally be. Yeah.
Yeah, also my left knee does not want to be straightened. But it's weird because my legs, when I do my stretching to keep the range of motion in my legs,
Hmm.
they're very odd. It's like my left one loves to be bent, but my
Hmm.
right one hates to be bent.
Right.
And my left one hates to be straight, my right one loves to be straight. So both of them have like a love-hate relationship with stretching.
Oh,
And
I can relate to that. I can relate to that because my right leg is actually my dominant, stronger leg, but my left leg can be bent further than my right leg, and I think it's super crazy.
yeah. You know, I do think that my right quad is probably stronger than my left one because I can lift it up a little bit higher than my left one can. Well, my left one can lift up higher, but my right one is, it can go up pretty high, and it's really odd. But whenever I'm sitting down, my right one can only lift like 3 inches above the ground.
Right.
Maybe 2 inches off the ground when I'm sitting down, but when I'm standing up, I can lift it like a foot off the ground, like
Right.
like for a second.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy how different areas of your limbs, your arms and your legs, how much you can, might be able to do with one but can't do with the other. And then, sometimes you can do things more with another part that you can't do with the other. And it kind of just goes back and forth. But hey, you still figure it out though, don't you?
hmm I do, and every day I'm learning how to do something because just a few days ago, maybe like a week ago, I learned how to brush my teeth all by myself with no
That's so
help.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to see how you do that. I just posted a video of how I brushed my teeth the other day, so it'd be super cool to see how you do it too one day.
Yeah, Mommy said that today I could duet your video.
Yes, you should. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I can see the glow of the light on the brush. A little pace, not too much, just a touch. I'm doing it now 'cause I forgot to this morning. Cleaning my mouth, it's still dry from snoring. I keep my eyes closed, no need to keep them open. This won't last long is what I'm hoping. And I saw everything coming but this part. Thoughts while brushing your teeth in the dark. Thoughts while brushing your teeth in the dark.
Have you met other AMCers in person?
I actually have not. I whenever I was younger, my mom was friends with this other mom who had a baby that has the same thing that we have, AMC, and they used to have us hang out when we were like 2 or 3 years old, I think, but I don't really remember then. I've seen pictures of us together, but as far as growing up and into my adult life, I've actually never in person met somebody else who has it, which I think is super crazy. And I really didn't even know how common it was until I started doing TikTok and Instagram and everything, and all these people started messaging me about how they have the same thing. So, but I do hope one day to be able to meet others who have AMC as well.
Yeah. I have met AMCers in person. I've met a few.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel? What did you think about it?
Um, it was pretty fun, interesting, weird.
Yeah, a little strange. Hey, that's good though. I bet it's really nice to be able to. It's probably very nice and comforting to meet other people who are very similar to you, and that way you can be able to relate with people.
Do you like to swim?
I do like to swim. Not really much. The swimming's kind of hard for me. I actually, that's one thing that I have not figured out. But as long as I'm in a pool that's shallow enough that I can stand like above the water, then I can kind of kick my legs and either swim on my back or I can swim face down as well. But I have to be able to stand back up so that I can, breathe the air because I can't tread water, like most people could. I can't sit there and float in the water because of the fact of not being able to use my arms. My legs get tired very easily after a while, and then can't really use my arms. So that's one thing I haven't figured out. But I do really enjoy being in the water, especially here in Texas because it is very hot. It's 105 degrees outside right now. Yeah, it's very very hot.
Do you like to draw?
I do like to draw. I actually haven't done it in a long time, but sometimes with my son River, me and him will color in his coloring book together, and I can have my ways of manipulating the to put the markers or the pencils in between my fingers, and I can just draw in my own special way.
Do you like to dance?
Oh, I love to dance. I do a lot of dancing videos on social media. I like to do them because I think that not only does it show the capability of things that people can do even with limited mobility and in our limbs and stuff, but it also just I feel like dancing in general really is just a very positive vibe in it, and it can pick people's spirits up if people are having a bad day and then they see people dancing. It's just one of those really happy things.
Do you play sports?
I do. I love to play sports. I love to play golf. I love to play soccer, football. I love to do all of those things. I watch a lot of sports too. I've always been a very big sports person, and plus, it's very good exercise.
Yeah, it is pretty good exercise.
Do you like sports?
Kind of. I like some of the different sports. I like golf, basketball, soccer, gymnastics. that's, that's pretty much it. There's only really a few, and also I don't really watch sports that much, so.
Well, hey, that's okay. You do the things that you enjoy doing, and that's all that matters.
Do you like to cook?
I love to cook. I love to eat. I eat all the time. Probably more than I should sometimes, but cooking is one of my favorite things to do. I think it's more of experimenting with food, trying to see what I can make, and sometimes what I end up messing up. But hey, you know what? That's how we learn.
Maybe.
Trial and error.
What else do you like to do in your free time?
Um, Honestly, I enjoy being outside a lot, even whenever it's really hot. Not right now. I don't like going outside because it's just miserably scary hot and it's very uncomfortable. But in the evening time, I like to just go outside and just sit out there and listen to the birds and feel the breeze and just enjoy the nice, peaceful, quiet time that I get to myself sometimes. I don't really do anything exciting in my downtime besides sit outside and listen to music, usually.
Uh, if you ask me, I have like a million different things I do for free time. I like to draw. I like to play in my playroom. I like to build weird forts. I like to read. I like to hang out on the ledge of the pool and play with pool toys. I like to dance with my dog Jamelli. Um, I like to play with my stuffies. It's like, if you ask me, there's like a million different things.
That is super super cool.
Do you live independently?
I used to, and then I moved out of my old apartment, and now I live with a friend currently. But I can live independently. Yes, I'm gotten to the point where I can fully take care of myself. I can make my own food, shower, clean, do all the things, all the necessities that you got to do every day.
Do you drive?
I do not drive. I That's actually my next goal. I'm glad you brought that up and asked that question. I am going to try to see what steps I need to take to get an adapted vehicle so that I could get my driver's license, because I've pretty much figured everything out except for the driving part.
Do you ever get discouraged?
I do get discouraged. Sometimes, I just have a bad day. I feel like with having a disability, it's you have to put in extra effort into everything that you do in order to be able to do it. So sometimes if I'm just too tired or too stressed out, there's things that I don't want to put that effort into doing, and it can be very discouraging and make you feel a little sad, because everybody wants every day to be as easy as possible, but I think just being a human in general, we have our good and bad days.
How do you stay positive when you're feeling down or frustrated?
I i try to stay positive by just reminding myself that I'm here for a reason, and no matter what life throws at you, you just have to try to make the best of it, because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone is in control of their own happiness, and you're not going to be happy until you train your brain to tell yourself that you're happy and do the things that you need to do every day to become the best version of yourself. And so I try to always try to keep that mindset, every day as I'm doing things. And I try not to be down for too long, because sometimes that can be a very hard slump to get out of. So I always try to just think as positive as I can.
Me too. I usually go into my calming corner and read some books, play with some toys. That kind of calms me down and keeps me positive.
I like that.
What's the biggest or hardest thing you've overcome so far?
I would say the biggest thing I've overcome is all of the self-doubt that I had when I was super young. I would worry because I didn't really fit in with everybody else, and I thought that I couldn't do things. And so I think that just in general, I've overcome a lot and learned how to do everything.
Have you ever been bullied in person or online because of your AMC, and how do you deal with it?
I have never been bullied in person. I have been bullied online, pretty much every day, honestly. It's one of those things that kind of goes back to what I talked about with just my mindset of, controlling your own happiness. And one thing you got to realize is that people who are hurt inside, deep inside themselves, that's why they're mean to other people, to try to distract themselves from feeling bad about themselves. So you just have to understand, hey, that person has something going on that they're struggling with, so it's not nice to, return evil for evil. You don't want to be mean to somebody back, because that doesn't really solve a problem. And it is one of those things that it's super hard to ignore it when people are constantly making fun of you or being mean. But I think that it helps you to feel like the bigger person, to just walk away from that situation and just kind of blow it off. because at the end of the day, you know, most of these people who make fun of us, they're not in our lives anyways. So, you know, it's just going to happen in life. People are going to be ugly to other people. I don't understand it, but it's one of those things that it just is what it is, and you just got to try to keep being as positive as you can.
Yeah. What are your top bucket list items?
Top bucket list items. I would say the top one would probably be to go skydiving. I would love to go skydiving sometime. I would also like to visit the Grand Canyon, and I would also like to go to the beach in Mexico at some point. Those are really the only three bucket list items that I have.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Hopefully, doing stand up comedy, or being in movies is what I would like to be doing. Also, I want to run an establishment for children and young adults who have disabilities. I want to build like a facility where it's kind of has like a kind of like school type learning, but also like sports activities and science experiments. And I want to build a facility where kids and young adults can come with disabilities and feel comfortable, where we can, you know, have them do a bunch of different activities and they don't feel like they're being judged or anything like that, and then they can make new friends by meeting the other people who are there. So I think that that's probably my number one goal, is to be able to do that for other people.
I see myself in 5 years creating 3 different businesses. Because
Is that
I
so?
just yesterday or the day before, whenever I did my business plan for one of my businesses, I thought up another business called Ding Dong.
What is that?
Well, I'll tell you all the businesses. Starting off with Clever Zip. You know, I was in New York, and I was going to get my new braces,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought there was like a suitcase on the table, and I thought on the zipper it said Clever Zip, but it didn't. It said like something else on it. So I decided to make up Clever Zip a hoodie company. And then a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a week and a half ago, I started Suck It Up, a vacuum cleaner company. And now I'm thinking about doing a third company, Ding Dong, a doorbell company.
Oh, that would be super awesome. I think those are all super cool ideas.
Do you like being a content creator slash social media influencer? Why or why not?
I enjoy being a content creator. Um, it has its pros and cons. I love being able to influence people in a positive manner, you know, as such as being able to show them, no matter if you're how different you are. You know, everyone's different, but no matter how different you are or what cards you're dealt in life, you can still, you know, make the best of it and adapt to your situation. And I think it's super cool to be able to show people how I do things, that they don't normally see every day. And I think that inspires other people to not ever want to give up in life. I think it's a huge momentum boost for a lot of people. It's not always fun with some of the things that people say because they might be rude, and at the same time, it is a lot to keep up with whenever you're trying to manage yourself, basically. But overall, I think it's a super positive thing to put into the world, and I really do enjoy doing it.
Do you ever get recognized in public? If so, do you like it?
I do get recognized in public quite a bit now, more so than, yeah, even a year ago. My audience has grown quite a bit. I do like it, but at the same time, it can be very overwhelming, it kind of just depends on the day and what kind of mood I'm in. Because sometimes I'm fine with talking to people and answering, all their questions and stuff like that. But sometimes, I'm not feeling very well that day, then it's not, something I really look forward to. But, like I said, I think it's important to, always be nice to everybody and spread kindness. So I try to be polite to people if they do approach me. And it always happens in the strangest spots. Like I can go somewhere and there can be a lot of people and I won't get recognized, but I can go to like the grocery store or something where there's like maybe 5 people in there and they recognize me. So it's
That's crazy.
it is super crazy.
What would you love to see happen because we did this video?
What would I love to see happen because we're doing this video? I would just love for it to spread awareness, not just for our disability, but just a positive message to be put out into the world that other people can relate to each other despite our differences. And I just think that it would be a super cool message to show everybody that you can make new friends, you can laugh with each other, you can inspire other people and show them how you do things in your own special kind of way. I think it's just going to be a super cool message that people receive.
Well, what I would love to see happen because we're doing this video is is it kind of going viral and they're getting millions of people.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Lots of people.
Well, maybe we can make that happen.
Maybe we can. I have a super big question.
Okay.
What would your perfect day be like?
What would my perfect day be like?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Ooh. Probably where I could just stay in bed all day and have someone bring me food. Just countless amounts of food. I think that would be a perfect day.
Well, my perfect day would be I would wake up and I would have breakfast in bed and I would have some really cute socks on with hearts and ice creams on it and rainbow transparent high heels. And then I would go about my day and I would make forts all around the house. And then I would go play and I would play inside one of those forts with some stuff. And then I'd go outside and there'd be a piñata that was in the shape of a unicorn that had a saddle that I could sit on. And I could wear a bracelet and I would tap it and it would turn into a real unicorn. And I would go swim around the pool and that unicorn could stop the fountain and the bubble jets. I wouldn't want to stop the fountain, but I would want to stop the jets that are around the pool.
That would be awesome.
And then I could swim around all I wanted onto that unicorn. And then she would come off, she would come out of there, and I would fly out of the pool screen, and I would spin around in circles, and we would go have an adventure. And then I would come back home, and I would go inside. The unicorn would turn back into a piñata when I jumped off of her. So I would come back inside, and I would eat my dinner, but you know where?
Where?
In one of my forts.
Forts.
And then I would go into the bathroom, and I would brush my teeth with rainbow toothpaste, sparkly rainbow toothpaste, and a rainbow-handled toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go into my bedroom and I would dress myself in the perfect rainbow, beautiful, sparkly pants and a long sleeve shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And then I would take off my socks and my slippers. I would have no AFOs on. And I would just take off my socks and slippers. And I would change my socks to the soft, warmy socks that I would wear at nighttime. and I would go to sleep, and my unicorn pinata would be in there with me. And then I would turn out the lights, and I would turn on space. And then the next morning I would wake up, and it would do that exact same thing.
Well, that sounds like a very eventful day. And
Yeah.
if you ever do get one of those flying unicorns, make sure that you send one for me too.
Okay. Well, these are Pegasuses. What? You can also get like different pinatas that also fly. Which one would you like?
I think I would need a dinosaur one. A dinosaur pinata.
A flying dinosaur pinata.
I think it would match my personality very well.
Okay, what kind of dinosaur? What type?
Ooh, Tyrannosaurus Rex. A T-Rex.
T-Rex.
What would you say is your favorite thing to do every morning when you wake up?
Oh, I've only done this like 2 times in my life, but I would say probably have breakfast in bed.
Breakfast in bed. I think that might be everybody's answer, huh?
Yes.
What is the biggest message that you would like to give to the world?
The biggest message?
Yes.
Probably to spread awareness for arthrogryposis.
I like that answer. What would you say is the hardest challenge that you've had to face so far?
Probably getting over the fear of 2 things. Fire and the jets in that pool.
You don't like the jets in the pool?
No, they always blow me away when I'm trying to stay over there. They always push me the opposite direction of where I'm trying to swim.
Well, you know, then by them jets doing that and you trying to go against them, it's probably good exercise for your arms and your legs to make you stronger.
Yeah.
But I know those pool jets, yeah, they can be kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. And I hope one day you get to have your perfect day.
Like I've told you before, you're a super bright light in this world, and I think that you're going to do amazing, extraordinary things, and you're changing lives every single day, even though you don't know it. And I hope that you get that unicorn one day that you want.
I do want, even if it doesn't turn into real, I just do want a big unicorn pinata.
Well, I think somebody might be able to make that happen for you one day.
Probably. Or maybe when I'm older, I can buy it myself with all my thousands of dollars I have in there.
You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you have thousands of dollars, then you can buy as many pinatas as you want.
I could buy a sushi pinata, a webcam pinata, a unicorn pinata, a human pinata, a pinecone pinata. I could buy like 1,000,000 pinatas.
You sure can. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed answering all your questions and getting to chat with you. And I definitely hope to stay in contact with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye.
You're so welcome. Bye.
Bye.